Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Ellenville Public Forum about school and community programs for youth, the role of My Brother's Keeper in Ellenville. I want to welcome everybody here, and for those of you live streaming with us, sorry you had to wait so long, but we're just getting our food, you should be here, and our drinks, you should be here, and get ourselves settled. So I'm going to begin. There'll be a couple of speakers, but we know it's a warm day and people want to just get together and talk, so we're going to make this right to the point and take you through some information. We will, if those who are here, make sure you're signed in because we'll send you more information. And also those of you who are live streaming, this is recorded and you will get a copy of it. You'll get access to it when it's done. Thank you very much. So anyway, a key component about what we do in Ellenville is this. In 2016, we started a grant under with New York State Ed called My Brother's Keeper. And we knew a little bit about it because we knew about the Obama Initiative and the Obama Foundation, but we weren't sure how it would play out, whether it would just be a silo program or something just for kids of color or change of policy. We weren't sure. But in fact, we learned a lot. And as a result, after the last 4 years, everything we do actually comes under the banner and the expression of rights and hope through My Brother's Keeper. So no matter what we talk about, we'll be talking about teen parent programs, we'll be talking about academic after-school programs. Everything is built on the foundation of the principles of My Brother's Keeper. And that you have to know. So sometimes people come to our events, they say, is this My Brother's Keeper? Yeah, it is. It's just not My Brother's Keeper, it's under My Brother's Keeper. And we have to explain it. So there are three main foci, that's plural for those students who are here. It's like fungus, foci. And the first is that we are in a grant that requires and requests family and community engagement. This is not something to be done only in the halls of a school. It's not something to be done only by teachers and principals or administrators. It's to be done with families, students, and the community. And we've tried our best the last 4 years to do that. I will say the next 4 years, should we get the grant again, we've applied for it, we will be doing that, even more. So that's number one. Number two, this grant, and people have to understand this because when I first introduced this, I got a lot of pushback on it. Its focus is on boys and young men of color. And a lot of people say, well, you know, not everybody in our district is a boy and not everybody in our district is a person of color. The purpose of the existence of My Brother's Keeper as an initiative is about historical trends that bring us to this point. And if you look at research and education, you will see graphs and arcs and numbers that suggest that school experience for young boys and men of color is a lot lower than all other groups, including girls of color, including other ethnic groups. So this grant is written so that we as educators, we as providers are focused on boys and young men of color. Now, the third one is important, but what we do is for everyone. Activities for all students. So we don't have a group that only African American kids come to or only Latino kids come to. We have groups. But when we are working with those groups, be it for academic progress, character development, things of that sort, we're particularly interested in how we care for those boys who historically are disadvantaged. And that we refer to as boys and young men of color. So those are the three main areas. These are the themes as per the research that was done. If anybody would like a copy of that, it was put out in 2014 or 15 on why these areas and themes were important in My Brother's Keeper. The themes and practices that they talk about. Mentoring. Hey, we like that one. We saw that in the beginning. We have a mentoring program. In fact, we've got people from Ulster County here today who sponsor our mentoring program. We're going to have them say a few words. Recruitment of racial ethnic minority teachers. I'll be honest with you, I don't know what efforts the school district makes to that. I know there are intentions, but that's connected, as far as I'm concerned, to school policy changes. And it's important, and I know Ellenville is out in terms of their service recruitment, to have a representation of people of color and all other ethnic groups in our employee pool. But it's part of the grant. Culturally relevant curriculum and instruction. Now, Asha, who's not here, is our librarian. She knows we got a little bit of money for books, so she's always after me and saying, I got culturally relevant stuff here. You give me, a certain amount of money, I'll get it. We'll get it out to the kids. So we are dedicated to that, and we've put a lot together. There's more to do. Rites of passage programs. I would say the closest we come to that is recognizing 5th graders and 7th graders as they enter, 8th graders and 5th graders as they enter 9th grade and 6th grade. We had been, prior to the pandemic, running orientation camps for new 6th graders to the middle school and new 9th graders to the high school. And even only after a couple of years, we can see differences in those kids. And they were randomly selected, some purposefully selected, but we could see the difference. We need to get back to that. In a way, that's a rite of passage. We have other programs where we're building in rites of passage through the My Brother's Keeper program, too. College and career readiness. Ashley Knox couldn't be here today. She's the CEO of Go Beyond Greatness, Inc. But we really found the gold mine there in terms of exposing kids to college and career readiness with Go Beyond Greatness and Miss Knox. And we intend to continue it. In fact, we're still doing it. We had 2 virtual tours in the last week, one of Bard College in Barrytown, New York, but we did it in our library, and one of SUNY Ulster, which we loved. It was great. And Caleb Mikado, who's here from Wild Earth, his wife is one of the admissions coordinators at SUNY Ulster, and you can tell her, Rebecca, tell her, they were great. And we hope to keep doing that. We want to look at local community colleges. We have been taking 5th graders every year to SUNY Sullivan and SUNY Ulster. And they would get a letter saying, Dear future scholar, you're welcome to come visit us. We used to have a great time, so we're going to get back to that. Character education. Well, I teach character education through the Circle of Courage Youth program. We get kids to identify their assets, not what's wrong with them, what's right with them, or what's great about them. And there are a lot of people involved in that. You'll see kids referring to each other as bear, buffalo, deer, and eagles. That's our totem animal signatures. Social emotional learning. David Levine couldn't be here today, but we collaborate with the Teaching Empathy Institute, which is right here in Ulster County and Stone Ridge. And he's doing a lot of work in Kingston and I think Saugerties now, I'm not sure. But he'd like to get back in with Ellenville, and as soon as we figure out where we are, we'd like to have him back helping us out. Early warning systems. Actually, Ms. White, who may still be here, may have just left, I'm not sure. But the district is already instituting early warning systems on kids through a couple of different computer programs, IXL, social emotional early warning systems, so that we could detect early on where kids are academically, socially, emotionally, physically, things of that sort. Systematic data collection and analysis. If I were asked what did we not do so well in the first 4 years, we didn't develop a systematic data and analysis system tracking the kids that we were supposed to focus on, because we were just tracking everybody and exposing them. But the next 4 years we would have this, and we're already putting it into place. And then last, school policy changes. Nothing means nothing unless the policies in the school get changed. I want to mention too that there are a couple of students here who participated with the town in terms of the police reform efforts. Their names are on the document that was sent up to Albany. And we saw there that unless you have something that's going to make a change legislatively in policy, it doesn't mean anything except conversation. And those kids heard that. Members of the NAACP are here. You echoed that over and over again, and the young people heard it, and we want to continue that momentum in whatever area it takes us into. We've had partners all along. You can't do this alone. And Ellenville did a lot. Well, historically, I think Ellenville did a lot alone and wound up being isolated. Not because they wanted to, but we just are. We're economically isolated, we're geographically isolated, we're politically isolated, And it's hard to evaluate yourself. It's hard to move ahead on your own in a situation like that. So one of our goals was to expand our network. So the Ellenville Public Library has been a consistent partner with us in the MBK program. There was an Ellenville Men's Group. It was originally, when I got here, and previously called the Ellenville African American Men's Group. Am I correct in that? And they changed it to Men's Group because they thought it was not including everybody. That group is pretty much gone out. There aren't many people who come to assemble with that. We had a passing of one important member recently, and but the NAACP would attend those men's group meetings, and they are taking the charge. They're actually written into the next grant. So the work that Mr. Jenner is doing here and trying to work with us to get a youth component in the NAACP, collaboration between my brother's keeper and NAACP of Ellenville is in the works. Ulster BOCES is involved always because they help us write the grant, they help us with supplies, with materials, and training. The mayor's office, this is important. We have a grant, family and community engagement, but there's also another level of MBK membership, and that's MBK Community Challenge. And what that means is, beyond the school, we get together like this, and we get businesses, and we start talking about MBK, what it's about. We create things in the community, outside of the school, and with the school. Nina Dawson is not here right now. She's the director of the Youth Bureau for Ulster County. But one of her major efforts is trying to instill an MBK program of the county. So, and I love working with her, and I'm glad that the county, again, is supporting us, and we have that opportunity. So we asked for that kind of involvement, and with that, we reached out to some people who are in positions of power, like the mayor of Ellenville. So the mayor of Ellenville and the superintendent, Lisa Wiles, wrote a letter. October 24, 2019, we had a meeting over at Hunt Memorial where a similar gathering happened, and we said we're now going to become an MBK community. Now, we haven't done a whole lot on that end, well, with the depth that we wanted to because of the pandemic, but it is a commitment of ours, and the mayor is an important part of it, his office. We have a lot of, like I said, we have to spread the network. We have some people here from Ulster County Restorative Justice Center and the Youth Bureau, Ulster County Office of Employment and Training. They're not here, but they're involved with us. And I'm going to have a student and one of our members from Ulster County speak, as well as a member of the County Executive's Office, Ms. Anna Markowitz, and I'll be calling them up in a second. There's MBK programs in Kingston and as well in Monticello and Fallsburg. And we all connect with each other because we don't get much money, and we share our services as best we can. So, the added value education, which I call AVEs, sorry, my Catholic upbringing, and activities, the things we've done I've mentioned: summer orientation and transition programs, school-based after-school summer programs. How many of you know how many after-school programs we have in the district? How many do we have? Anybody know?
6.
How many?
6.
6. Okay, I got 2 of them. One is Advantage, right? One is the YMCA. Who are the others? We have the one with Kenyatta, that's Advantage.
Yes.
We have the YMCA in elementary. We also have applied for extended day, but that's academic programming. I'm sorry? Well, Warsing is available to us in the summers. That's 4. When you know it, shout it out. We also have science, technology, education at New Paltz. I love this program because it's a full day on a Saturday for kids to go to SUNY New Paltz and be in classes where they are taking aeronautic engineering. They're actually operating flight simulators. There's a room I went in and almost got killed where kids are operating drones indoor. There's a lot of stuff these kids get exposed to, and they love it. In fact, 2 of our senior members, they did it this year, but it was all virtual. So 2 of our seniors are getting awards this year for their participation and their work in it. We'd like to see that continue. Circle of Courage youth programs, wherever I am, wherever my Circle of Courage crew is, it's going to happen. Implicit bias training. One of our staff members, Ellie Espinoza, is sponsored and hired by New York State to train people in implicit bias around the state. And I kept watching them do this, and I said, why don't you, let's do it in Ellenville. So what we are doing, and Victor's part of that, we've come up with an agreement, and actually it's on the budget for BFI, where Mr. Espinoza is going to be recorded. He's going to donate his training to the district so that people can access it at any time they want. It's been awfully hard to get people, number one, to understand what implicit bias is about, but also to sit down and hear it and get involved in it and learning about it and exchanging and connecting. So we're going to have our own training series with the trainer himself available because he teaches Spanish in our district. And then a program that's near and dear to my heart right now. I didn't know how many teens we had who are parents. And I've learned quite a bit about Ellenville and teen parents. So we now have a teen parent program. It's only like 5 weeks old, something like that. But we have 3 parents who come regularly, and we have 2 young men, one who's joined us and one about to join us, and possibly a 3rd young man. But we're learning a lot about the struggle of young women and men who are moms and dads before they're even high school seniors. And when we get to talking with Ms. Markowitz, I'll highlight why I'm glad that that program is connected to BFI. We also have the finish line for academic support. My happiness with this is we do it every Wednesday. It doesn't cost a dime. It's free. Those of us who are in it donate our time. We're working anyway. And it's to help kids catch up who have fallen behind. The problem with the program is it began in November, and then it was interrupted until January by the pandemic. And so you get kids who are already 2 quarters behind. It's hard for them to catch up. Next year, that is written into the extended day academic program through New York State. So the finish line will continue, but will begin day 1 of next year in the fall. Social justice group is what I was referring to about kids getting involved in their community. The NAACP is a great organization to work that through, as well as many others. And we want kids to be conscious of what they're involved in their community. Tech Saturdays, kids should, look, we're in our classrooms and in the lunchroom, kids are on their phones all the time, they're playing games, they got their switches with them, they're doing this and that. We've got to go with that. We can't fight against it. So Tech Saturdays are great. We get a lot of kids attending who we don't really know, because they're the kids that sit in the corners. One kid told me, he said, I'm the king of the nerds here, that's why I'm over here. But that kid helped me organize Tech Saturdays, and they love it. Quick story, the first time we had a Tech Saturday, I had 30 kids come to the high school on a Saturday, and 2 women came in, they were grandparents. And I said to them, they're going to be with me for 4 hours. You don't want to see this the whole time. We got coffee outside and go. And one grandmother said, you see that boy over there with the headphone? And I said, yeah. She said, that's my grandson. I said, yeah, that's great. She said, no, I'm going to stay because I didn't know he had all these friends. I thought he was just talking to himself in the house. So I want to stay here and see that. And that's true. College and Career Readiness and Brighter Futures Mentor Program. And with that, I want to launch off and introduce Anna Markowitz, who, Anna, you're going to have to give your exact title when you get up here.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, come on up.
All right, hello. It is so wonderful to be here in real life. I feel like I've seen a lot of you all through Zoom squares and on phones, and this is one of the first times I've been behind a microphone in like a year and a half, so you'll have to excuse any rustiness. I'm really excited to be here because Brighter Futures is my favorite program that I run. I work with Alex Juleson. She's the lady that does everything all the time for every kid that she works with. And so really what we are, we're a program that wraps our arms around each kid and helps them cross that finish line to graduate high school. especially for kids that are experiencing generational poverty. Something as simple as a phone card can be the barrier to them graduating or not. Like last year we had a kid who, the whole world shut down. He was back at home and none of his teachers could reach him. They were like, we don't know, we haven't heard from him. He just might not graduate. And so Alex went and knocked on his door and said, hey, people are looking for you. Why haven't we seen you in a while? And he's like, well, I ran out of minutes. I don't have a way to reach anybody. And so we got him a $45 phone card and he graduated. And so it's little things like that that seem so small but can be a barrier. And so we're just here to talk to each kid and say, what do you need? What is your barrier? And it will be different for every single kid, but we're here to help them graduate. We're here to support them when they go to college, because that can be a huge transition. And just we want to see people succeed. And so Alex has a big presentation with all sorts of details about how we support kids, so I'll leave it on to her. But I'm just so happy to be supporting the community here, and I look forward to continuing that, both with this program. We've also helped the YMCA launch their school-based program. We really want to see Ellenville get the resources that you all deserve, and so I'm just here to help and learn. So great meeting you all.
You want to hook in? While they're hooking up the brief presentation by Alexandra, let me just comment on the Brighter Futures initiative. What I like about it is that it's personal to kids. They all get a mentor. And actually there are some mentors here.
All right.
And the age qualification is interesting because it's 16 to 21, which I'm learning is before your 22nd birthday, as far as I heard. I hope I'm right with that. But most grants are short-sighted. They go to schools and they help you until you graduate. But there's a life after that. And what this grant does is it will stay with those students beyond that time. We have actually 2 students here who are in the Brighter Futures initiative. And Alex, maybe after you, are you all set? Yeah. You come on up and you can do your presentation, but I want to make sure that we get at least an acknowledgement of those 2 students. You have to speak to them.
Hi everyone, I'm Alex Jolson. I'm gonna take your thing. I see you. I see you. Yeah. Yes. Tanae over there. I see you too. Yeah. All right. So I'm a little nervous. Yes, it's been a year and a half, 2 years since the last time I've been up in front of a group of people. So I apologize, and I had a lot going on today. So bear with me. I'm gonna talk about the VFI program really quick. A lot was said between Anna and Frank, so I'm gonna repeat a lot of things. But I just want to pose a question to you real quick. Think about when you were 16 years old, 17 years old, and think about the supports that you had. Just dream. Go back. Was there anybody in your life? Did you have your family? Was you working? Was there any community members in your life? Was the school a part of your life? Think about it. Did you graduate on time? Did you have some struggles? Did you have a sense of belongingness in school? Was you liked in your community? Think about it. Does anyone want to share about their life at 16? Really quick? Any adults? Go ahead.
I was fortunate to have support from my family, and in the school I went to, by the time I was junior, senior, I did have support of teachers and friends, so I was fortunate, blessed.
Can you identify one person that helped you transition from being a student, a teenager, to a young adult?
I guess I can say my parents. They really did. They really were there for me, and I was able to become a young adult, not without a lot of growing pains, but I made it, and again, I'm blessed that I had them there to help me with that.
So exactly, this is what Brighter Futures Initiative program is all about. Trying to have that youth have someone to tug them along so they can successfully transition from being a teenager to a young adult. That's all it is. Removing those barriers, giving them connections to community, and helping them become successful as a young adult. Okay. So I'm gonna refer to BFI. Refer to Bright Futures as BFI. That's our lingo. And so basically, BFI is County Executive Pat Ryan's initiative, and basically he wants to reshape the criminal justice system. Sorry, again, I'm a little nervous. His target is to place interventions to adolescents and their parents, so we don't just service the kid, but they also their family members too. We also want to break the cycle of generational poverty. So we don't want to see anybody poor. That's the key point. We want people to become their best. And whatever that looks like for that youth, we want that kid to get there. So this is what the cohorts look like. We have 2 of them right now. We're going to go for 3. Yay. So 2. One is in Ellenville with 20 kids, and Ellenville has about 24 kids. We try to match it to 20, but it's too hard. Too many people to help. So we took on more. More kids need more. Some kids need less. So that's the reason why we were able to do 24 here. Not just 24 kids. 24 kids and their families. Remember that. Brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, stepfathers, grandmas, grandpas, and things of that nature. So these are kids that are struggling in schoolwork, coursework, sense of belongingness. Some of them are on probation, so they're just basically trying to help them transition successfully to graduate from high school and into the real world, which is work, college, or anything in that nature. Guess what? We get to be with these kids for 4 to 5 years. So if I'm seeing this kid at 16, I see this kid until 21. If I'm seeing this kid at 20, I get to see this kid to 25 years old. And I refer to them kids, but young adults, youth, things of that nature. But it's wonderful to see this kid transition from graduating from high school and into the next steps of life. And that's what Anna and Frank was saying earlier, was that this program is not just designed for them to see them graduate. This program is designed to see them transition into being the next step wherever they want to be and successfully do that. So, next. So, we connecting youth to these connections. Can anybody think of what connections we're connecting them to? What are we connecting kids to?
Jobs.
You said it?
Jobs.
Jobs, yes. That's one key factor.
College.
College. Anything else? Community.
Military service.
Military, yes. That's part of jobs. Or college. Same difference. Yes. So it's 4 key areas that we are transitioning kids to. School, work, takes forever. Community, and family. That's fast. You can go back to that slide one more time. I don't know if it's going to do it. So right here we have, and I'm going to say names because due to the fact of the nature of the program is not a negative notation, it's a positive notation. So I want people to know that these kids are actually thriving and doing something with their life and they're actually becoming successful. So again, it's just names. So here's Ms. Wiles with our first graduate of the program, Tangible. He actually is a graduate of Kingston High School because of Bright Futures. Ellenville High School. Sorry. We have Josiah at work, working for J&S Painting Service. This is one of his first jobs. He never climbed the ladder, so he was able to climb the ladder and actually do some painting for a local business in Kingston. We also connected Lewis, which is a student out in Kingston. He got connected to the state troopers because he wanted to be a police officer. So they was telling him all the ways that he needed to do what he needed to do to become a state trooper. And then we have Tyler that he's with his family, and we connect him to better services so that his family could get the things that they needed to become a functional family and be able to help him thrive to graduate, hopefully in August 2021. of the program. Everybody wants to know, why are we doing all this great stuff? Why Pat Ryan wants to do this for the county and things of that nature. But the point is that there is benefits to seeing these kids actually do what they need to do to be successful. So there's a skill development. We want to identify their skills. Each kid has a skill. They might say, I don't know, I don't have none, miss, but they do have a skill. We want to find out what those skills are, build on them, and then increase them. We have a picture right here of he's actually part of Brothers at Bar. Yes, Brothers at Bar program, and we conducted a CPR class, and he brought some of his cohorts with him to learn CPR, and we also had one recently with 3 females from Ellenville, where they, during Women's Month, they learned how to do CPR and became certified CPR first aid. What do you call it? Not trainers, but they learn how to. They were certified. Yeah. So then we connect kids to services. There's so many services in Ulster County that a lot of people don't know about. And yes, Ellenville might be in an area where there's a lack of it, but there is some that's willing to come down to Ellenville and provide these services. We have Jenna here. She's from Kingston, but they also work with kids here in Ellenville. It's a group called Chrysalis, provided by Circle Creative Collective. They do a girls empowerment group every Monday from 7 to 9. And basically we talk about everything under the sun, from boys to puberty to just being a woman, or just what's going on in society and how they can be a part of society. It gives them a sense of belonging. The program was supposed to be only for 6 weeks. It turned out to be 10 months long. So we're still going at it every Monday. And so they took the couple of girls out to Accord and to the water, the deep blue water hole. Yes, that's what it's called, deep hole. And then they gave the girls a chance to actually connect and get to see each other face to face without being behind the screen. Most of the programs are on Zoom, but they do once in a while. Like, we just did a sweat lodge with some of the girls. That was, for me, that was the first time I ever did something like that. So, and for the girls, it was a good experience just to bear out all their toxins and things of that nature. So that was kind of cool. So we connect those kids to the services, and we also connect them to MBK one-on-one mentoring. We partner with local organizations to basically maximize their performance in school, work, and family. So these mentors, which I'm going to have them talk in a couple of seconds, these mentors give their time, about maybe 1 hour to 3 hours a week, and identify this person as a person, but also help them with anything that they're struggling with, but at the same time build this rapport so that they can be able to help this child or this youth transition from, you know, being a teenager to a young adult, and helps me out because I can't be all over the place. But they like, hey Alex, this person needs they need a phone card, or they need help with their Wi-Fi bill because we can't reach out to them, or they're struggling in school. They're the ones they're my first line defense people to be able to let me know what is going on with the kid. And I thank them so much, because if it wasn't for them, I'd be clueless on what to do next with these kids. So I have Ms. Berry, I have Mr. Pawetti, and I have Ms. Chapin here. They're gonna talk really quick, not too much of your time. But whoever wants to go first can talk about their experience as being a mentor.
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
I'll go first.
Oh. Can you just come to the store?
So I'm an academic. My name is Tracy Berry. I work at the high school. I'm a school counselor. And I'm an academic mentor for 2 students. And I'm also new to the district. So just connecting and building that rapport with the students was huge for me, because I didn't know them previously. And I gotta say, it's been rewarding and tough. Just connecting with the students and, you know, setting boundaries, because I have 2 males. So, you know, and I'm a woman, obviously. And, you know, just kind of connecting and setting boundaries and encouraging, you know, has been a process. You know, but it's been successful. You know, I have a good connection with my 2 mentees, and you know, they call me, you know, which was also something that I kind of struggled with, just making that connection so that they feel comfortable to call me, and also for me feeling comfortable to call them and not just their parents, so that's been a transition, but it's been very rewarding experience. Fingers crossed that, one of my mentees, he's going to graduate. I already told him, I might get on your nerves, but I'm going to be calling you, every other day until we get to the finish line, because I want him to be successful. His mother wants him to be successful. I'm picking up my sign this weekend, with his name on it, so I can be screaming, congratulations, and I'm going to show him, so another tool to help him get motivated to graduate. That's it for me.
Thank you.
I'm Allison Chapin. I've been a school counselor in Allenville for about 17 years. So when this program came here, I remember when Alex came down, she just asked me a question. She's like, from the county, and she's like, do you guys have tutoring? And I'm like, what? Tutoring? And I'm like, can you give us tutoring? And it was just like so wonderful. And this program has just been so amazing in terms of like, from my position as a counselor, seeing what people in the community needed and kids needed, but this program really goes up further and beyond, really reaching into people's lives and being able to provide the things that you said, to even the playing field. And so I think it's one of the best things that's happened to Allenville, and I think it's just such a wonderful program, Alex, and I'm in awe of you and all you do, and Frank, all you coordinate, and I'm lucky to have a wonderful mentor here, but I won't put her on the spot. But that's been a wonderful experience for me as well. So thank you for all that you guys do. Greatness at Allenville.
Thank you.
I'm Carl Duetti. I work at Allenville High School teaching ENL, and I've worked in worked in other school districts in the past, and I feel like I've had unofficial mentor relationships with students over my 25 years of teaching, but this is really the first time that I've been an official mentor, and so there's some training involved with that. And I really have been, happy to learn some new tricks. It's kind of like, I feel like I've taken things to another level, as far as my connection with young people. And, it's been, not to focus on me, but I'm saying like, I feel like I've learned a lot too. Learned about some of the agencies in Ulster County and the services they provide for young people. One of my mentees is heading off to SUNY Ulster, so I've helped him through that process every step. So I learned about that too. So I really am glad to be a part of it, and look forward to the future. To work with these young people and see what will we learn next. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you. So each of these mentors here all have seniors, as you know, and they are helping me to help them across those barriers to help them get to graduation and be able to get to the next steps. All of us get to see them actually transition from being a high school student to now being a successful young adult. And we're there and they are with me for the next couple of years too, to see these people transition and become whatever they want to be, whether it's going right into college, whether it's going right into the workforce, or find a vocation and trade that they want to aspire to work as whatever they want to be. And we get to see that and we get to help them, whatever that might be. We get to see that happen. So I am happy to be a part of this team with you guys, and it's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your stories. All right, next. All right, so the program, so I talked about a lot of it, but I want to just let you know exactly what we provide. Because, people are like, oh, you do this, you do that. No, this is what we exactly do. So we do case management for 4 to 5 years. We do job placement. Job placements means that we look for local organizations here that are hiring kids. Like I have one kid that's going to be interviewing with Gabby's to be a dishwasher. Who would have thought Gabby's is hiring? Obviously they are, but who would have thought that they would hire teenage students? So we are working with them. We also work with Horizons. What's the first part of it?
New
Horizons, the New Horizons, and we placed one of the kids working there, helped them to get a job working there, and we wrote references and things of that nature. He was able to find the job, but he was able to we was able to support him get through those hoops and things of that nature. We also did the bus company,
Rolling V.
not Rolling V, the other one. No, I can't think of it. Starts with a B. But but we help a kid do that program. He didn't get into the program, but he was able to know that they was hiring and know what it looks like to actually get a job and know what the requirements to do. Like we helped him with the job interview close, what the resume part. We helped him with there were so many things that we helped him to get into to be able to land just a job interview with that organization. So we do college and vocational training. So working with kids with Office of Employment and Training. If no one knows who they are, basically Office of Employment and Training, when it comes to young adults, they have a young adult program where they basically help them with internships / real life jobs so that they can be able to go into the workforce and know what the workforce looks like and what it tastes like and get them ready for that so that they can be able to land a job that they want, not a job that they have to do to basically survive. So for instance, CDL training, commercial driver's license. They also have phlebotomy training. They also have, there's so many trainings. They got cosmetology and things of that nature. So these kids can actually enter the workforce that they would like to be in, not be forced to be in. They have workshops like Go Beyond Greatness that we mentioned so many times. We have photography now. We have the chrysalis groups. We have there's so many more that I can't think of right now that became so blank, but we have about 5 workshops that we have with the kids, and we prepare them to get ready for whatever that looks like for them to help them to successfully transition. We also do paid internships. So paid internships, we pay the kids $15 an hour. So at any local organization. So right now we have about 5 kids working at the local library. We have kids working at the Bruins Medical Partner. We have kids working at a Manny's Boxing Gym, and those kids are working and making money to be able to learn a skill, but at the same time they are helping out the organizations here locally in Ellenville. That's it. Nope. Next slide. So I know I said a lot, and I was probably mumbling and rumbling all around the place. And so if you feel like there's something that you want me to clarify, I can clarify it now. Please ask any questions, because this program is not just what the slides are presenting. There's so much more. It's been a program that we've been doing for over 2 years now. I've been in this position, and I've seen it grow from 10 kids in Ellenville to now 24 kids. And and we plans to keep going and moving forward and growing bigger with MBK on our side and things of that nature. So I would love for you guys to ask some questions, because I know I said a lot, and I want you guys to have clarification of what we do. And I'm going to have Marlon talk right after those questions.
Can we have the kids speak first? And then, because there's more to cover, and then we can do all questions together.
Okay. That sounds like a plan. So Marlon Cabrera is one of, he's not the first 10, but he is a part of my 24. He's a high school senior, and let's hear about him and how Berry Futures helped him out.
Hello. Hi. I'd like to start off by saying thank you to Mr. Moore and Alex, because seriously, I don't know where I'd be if it wasn't for you two last year. When the pandemic started, I had a lot of issues. Like you said before, with barriers, I definitely had a lot, and I took it on myself to do it all by myself, and I got a long way, but it got really hard, and we had like car troubles and not being able to work, and then you're thinking like I'm not making enough money to pay for the car and this and that. And I hated the idea of asking for help. I hated it. And Alex told me, like there's this program that's literally made and created just to help you. And she wasn't joking. She was really serious about that. And I thank you so much. And other things she helped me out with was being able to get the opportunity to race down in Virginia Mr. Mulhorn also, you guys helped me out being able to go down there and get a plane ticket to Cohort Greece. I ended up placing 8th in the nation for one of my races. But I wouldn't have gotten the opportunity if it wasn't for you two. And still, like, I was still always distant with Alex. I hated being asking for help. I didn't want to seem like that vulnerable all the time. And she asked me, like, who's someone that I felt more comfortable with. And I had to say it was John Paulson, because he's my track coach and I've known him for years. And right now he's my mentor, and because I look at him as like a father figure. And I thank you for having him as my mentor, because he's always on my neck about, you know, getting grades, school. So is Mulhorn and Alex. Alex and Mulhorn were always those type of people that you'd be in like lunch and you'd be eating your school lunch and they'd come up to you like, hey, do you want to join my program? And all the time. And you look at them a little crazy, but you know, you do it because they ask you every day. You do it, and then you meet these like kids in your school that you've never talked to before, and it's really cool. It's really cool. It's something that I definitely encourage my classmates to do, and anybody who really needs help. To this day, I still don't like asking for help, but I know that Alex is always there when I need her, and she's always checking up on me, and so is Mr. Mulhorn, and I really appreciate you too. Thank you.
I mean, Savannah, if you want to.
Press her.
Thanks. Well, thank you to Frank and especially Alex, because we tussled for a while. When the pandemic started, it was really rough not being able to go to school because my mom is very sick and I take care of her and stuff shit. And being at home during the pandemic was just really hard, having to be with her and then trying to do school at the same time was just really rough. And I went through it with Alex so many times, but now we're bestest of friends. We're good. I'm still struggling, but I definitely would have just been lost without them. So, really, thank you for helping me get this far, and there's hope now, because before, if I didn't have them, I don't know where I'd be. So, yeah, that's it.
Cool, thank you guys for the stories. So like I said, I wanted to let you guys know what BFR is all about. I want to, say we're not the slideshows, as you can see, as from the cohorts themselves spoke, the mentor spoke. We are a lot more than just what the paper says. We plan on doing more. We plan on being here. I got another 4 years with you guys. So, yeah, I ain't going away. So basically, this is what BFI is all about, and and I'm willing to hear from the community what else supports I can do to be able to provide and support these youth. It's wonderful when I saw DSS sitting right next to me, and we're going back and forth on how we can support these kids. Now, child care is coming in play with 3 of the moms that I work with. Not even 3 moms. Now I have a dad, coming on too. No, he is on. He is on. He's a brother of a sister that's in the program, and he heard what was happening, and he wanted to be a part of it. And that's the key word, you guys. No one's mandated to be a part of this program. It's all about willingness. If they're willing to be here, I'm willing to be able to support them, and I grab all you guys to be there for them. So, basically, that's BFI in a nutshell. So.
Thank you very much. We just have a little more information for you, and then we'll open it up to questions. So I just want to say something when I hear Marlon speak and I hear Savannah speak, and then there are a number of other kids. It's actually a need we have as teachers to advance the world for other people. So it's your efforts that get me going. And I don't consider it help on my part. I consider it this is who we are. And we're happy to be, as Mr. Boetti, this is like now it's official. He's been a mentor for 25 years, but now it's official. So when you send me a photo of you racing, I'm thrilled. I'm like jumping around. This is great, And we're not family. We don't know each other, but I respect you deeply. And for Savannah, I know a lot about your struggle, and I'm just impressed with your courage. I really am. You keep getting up, and you're one of the smartest kids I've ever met, and I'm sorry to say kid, but that's how I see some of the kids. But I just am so impressed with you, and I can't wait to see you in the future as well, because it's just going to get greater and greater. So I want to thank you, Alexandra, for bringing that out and giving us a rundown on that. I have, if you can go to the next slide, that would be great. Just a couple of more things to go over, and I want to introduce somebody else who just got here. So these are groups we work with. I'm just going to highlight a couple because we only have a few minutes left. But Go Beyond Greatness is like, it's staple to Ellenville. We need Ashley Knox and we need Go Beyond Greatness. They do a fabulous job, and Ashley connects in a way, and connects not just to kids, but connects kids to businesses, executive directors of various locations, colleges, and together with her, we just have a complete package for kids, which is great. Teaching Empathy Institute, who knew it would be in Stone Ridge? You think, okay, I got to go down to Manhattan to do that, but it's in Stone Ridge, and David Levine does a great job. Wild Earth, Caleb Mercado is here representing Wild Earth, and David Brownstein is the CEO. Wild Earth is outdoor education and the belief that kids can learn in natural environments, and in some ways should. And we've had a chance to have Wild Earth staff work with our kids in the elementary level and the middle school level. And Caleb was part of that. And when we were first under the pandemic, Caleb was on the line with some of his colleagues every day, volunteering to give out food to our families, just day after day after day. And we appreciate that. I'm glad you're here, Caleb. And we hope to continue with Wild Earth. Camp Ramapo, they're not represented here, but I just love Camp Ramapo because I make such good connections on zip lines and archery and boating and stuff with kids, and the kids love it. Rowley Family Foundation, we found this out, as a matter of fact, as a contact from David Brownstein at Wild Earth. He called me up one day, he said, look, you do all sorts of different things with kids, and I got this group that wants to help women and mothers, and what do you got? I said, I don't know. So I wrote like a 7-page document, sent it off to them. They came back, they said, we like what you're doing with teen parents. And I hadn't done anything except identify we haven't. So they now fund most of the program for that, which is great. And they're not represented here, but great. Community Change is Kenyatta Funderburg from the Bronx in our after-school program. We just did Brighter Futures. And now I want to introduce with a little story. I went to the men's room up in Albany at a conference. And on the way out, there's this lady standing there. She said, I was sitting right behind you. I was waiting to talk to you. And I'm thinking, I just got out of the men's room. But Nina Dawson is the director. Well, let me change that. She's the relentless director of the Youth Bureau for Ulster County. And she said, we have to do something together. Ellenville needs help, and we need to recognize Ellenville. And with that conversation, Nina, I think you'd agree, it just started a connection of real-time help in Ellenville. We didn't have a caseworker or a case care manager in Ellenville before. They would stop in. Alex, how many days a week are you here? Almost every day. Ellenville didn't have that. So we're getting attention, we're getting supports. We get the police to show up when we don't even know it. Now, wait, before I go on with you, Nina, hold on one second. The gentleman on the right, Officer Young, is a mentor in our program. And in fact, we didn't mention it, but Marlon, are you still dispatching? Marlon is police dispatcher at the Ellenville Police Department, helps through the connection. So it just grows. Welcome, gentlemen. Now, some will say that Officer Young's here because he knew there was food, but I don't know if that's true. But we welcome you, gentlemen. We're just going to keep going, but help yourself. All right. So I'm back to the lady that approached me after I got out of the men's room. All right. So Nina is relentless. She cares so much about kids. Her passion is unbelievable. Even getting here, she's late because she has a million things going on, but she called me about 6 times, so it doesn't matter. You're here. I want you to come up and say a few words about your work and the connection here. Nina Dawson.
Thank you, Frank.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm crazy, but I'm good.
Yes, you are.
Hi, everyone. I don't even know if I need this mic. This is beautiful. This is a beautiful place to have this. First, I have to actually say to you two, to the 2 youth that are here, you guys are amazing. And I'm so loving that you spoke. You spoke well, both of you. I admire you for that. And is it okay if I take this off for 1 second? I admire you both for speaking out because not many youth would do that. So, and I have a picture of you in my network in the police station. It's the cutest picture in America. I love it. I love it. And Savannah, you're just adorable. You really, really are. First time I met her, I said, "Can I hug you?" And she was like, and I was like, "I get it. I understand. I have my mask on." She's like, "I don't like hug people touching me." I was like, "I got it. I got it." I'm the same way, actually. If I don't want you, I don't want you. So, but I'm so proud of both of you. I really, really am. You are amazing. And you did it. You did it, and you're still doing it. And you're going to close one book, and you're going to open the next book. And stay in touch with us, please. Proud of you. And anything you need, and literally, I know you don't like asking things, but like Alex has done some amazing things for you guys. So Alex is the piece to the puzzle that makes this work. She's done things that some of their parents aren't capable of even doing. You know what I mean? And the beautiful thing is, she's not, it doesn't matter what it is. She is a beautiful piece to this puzzle. She really, really is. Thank you, Alex, so much. I can't say enough. There are days that when I'm speaking to Alex at like 6 o'clock on a Friday night, I'm like, "Alex, get off that mountain, leave Ellenville, like go home." She's like, I'm going, I just have to finish this. All of us are very, very relentless in what we do. And Frank, really? Like, I did meet him, but I pegged him in a meeting that we were both in at that event. And I was like, me and him are going to do good things together. I just kind of made up my mind, we're going to do something. And I'm sorry for waiting for you by the management. But I am relentless. I'm very compassionate about helping and bringing out what already exists in youth. That's my thing. Youth, people, families. I love the family engagement piece because that's the piece that we really didn't talk about much here since I've been here. And because the family engagement piece is usually what's missing. When you have school and you have mentors and you have beautiful people like Alex and Frank and Anna doing things kind of directly and also behind the scenes, that's beautiful. But we are actually crossing lines. We're going into the family engagement piece really deep. And this is what's needed because a lot of the parents, we're bringing them out and into this, whether they like it or not. Sometimes they're kicking and screaming. But we're bringing them into school systems and into support systems, mental health, all kinds of supports because of this program, BFI and MBK, and because of the kind of compassion that we all have for this whole thing called support. It's just, we've connected so many different pieces to this. So I'm really glad to see the police here. I'm proud of you guys for being mentors. I like that. I really like that. Yes. Thank you. I appreciate you for what you do. I didn't mention Anna. She's probably like, what the heck? So Anna has been a very, very strong piece to this, and we probably all drive her crazy. I call her, she calls me, we're doing a ton of different things, but she's the behind the scenes person that I mentioned that makes this work. She's the one that says, okay, this is crazy, but okay. I'm like, we got to do crazy sometimes. So I'm really, really happy to be a part of all of these different organizations, but that list right there is crazy. That's crazy. And it's the collaboration that makes this all work. And Frank is the best at this. Frank knows somebody that does everything. Everything. Frank is, I heard about him before I even met him. So then when we were at this event and they mentioned his name, I said, that's him. That's why I pegged you. That's why I pegged you. And he has been a rock in Ellenville. I hope you guys know what you have here, because he does he crosses lines. I mean, when I see a white Jewish man speak the way this man does about stuff that only black people are supposed to know, I'm like, I mess with this man. I like it. I like the way he moves. He does not care what color you are, Latino, black, negra, Espanol, Jewish. He doesn't care where you come from. He's going to help you. And that's something that we don't see every day. We don't. And that, especially in this day and age, this is beautiful, you know. He tells me things about black people, and I'm like, I'm writing stuff down. I'm like, let me get that. Let me. I take notes from some of the things that he tells me. So I appreciate you so much. Thank you, Frank. And Victor, you're the man. You're the man. Thank you for what you do. Mentors, everyone, thank you.
No.
Just now, my eyes went across you. Jose, do you want to say something? Jose is also a mentor too. Yes, he is. I'm so sorry.
I'm good. I'm listening out. I'm seeing people like I didn't even know. I'll see him in school every time. I didn't even know he was an officer. So, nice to meet you. I'm Jose Morales. I'm a speaker, motivational speaker, and I'm also a federal officer. And I've been mentoring and speaking to kids for about 20 plus years. And how I came about this, I know Frank for 20 plus years, and that's around 2000. I was working at the Pies, and in that particular time, working with the kids when I knew what was my calling. I kind of enjoyed the thought of able to help these kids that they came from where I came from, because I came from a broken home. I was abused in the whole 9 yards. I'm a published author also, and I have my book out, and I wrote about my life story for the fact to try to help those that feel like nobody cares. And so that's what I do. I do adversity, and I help kids with adversity. I help them how to take what they have and take their stumbling stone and turn it into stepping stones. Take people that are thinking that not helping them, giving them that chance to allow them to come into the life like you guys are doing right now, because we're breaking walls just to try to plug these kids in. And we have to kind of, the big thing is that we got to let them know that it's okay to trust us, because not everybody's out there to get them. I grew up like that, like everybody's always out there to get me. And so that's when I started realizing, working with Frank and seeing what he does, he's been consistent still to this day, which is he's not someone that waves around. He's been the same person, and I know him for so many years, and I'm so blessed that our path came across again, and here I am now. So I told Frank whatever he needs from me, I'm here, because I'm really strong and passionate about wanting to make sure that the kids understand that there is hope. There's, that what you have is valuable. Like your whole essence of just being in here, there's a purpose for someone, for myself, or for him, or for anyone, because we're all learning from each other. So it's not like about I'm all knowing everything just because I go and travel and hang out with celebrities and speak. It's all about I'm learning from, that's why I am where I am, because I've learned through my experience, and I also collect with what these kids are doing and what they're speaking about and how they're feeling. And then I kind of put that all together and interject that back into the community. So I love the thought that this town is actually doing something, because as I was explaining to Frank, I was looking for a house in Middletown, and I so end up here. And I was like, what there is in Ellenville, because this town is so small. And then once I got plugged in with Frank, it became a blessing, because then through him, I started seeing a lot of things that's taking place in this town. I'm like, oh wow, like I've been sitting in the dark and I don't even know about it. So what put me in a position was, I don't know how to shut up. So I'm that guy that I told Frank, whatever you need, I'm out there to make noise, because I want people to know that you guys exist, that you guys are here, that there is something going on. Because when my daughter goes to high school here, and it's kind of crazy, because I'm like, do you even know that they have this? No, why not? So that's what that's where I started jumping into the gaps. I need to know what is it that we need to connect that in order for people to know. Because if the community to know, you can't do nothing. And then again, what you were saying, you got to hit the house. Because if we don't hit home, ain't gonna matter. I remember one day my teacher was telling me, hey, I need you to mother do this. And I told my mother, and my mother had all kinds of nice things to say. And I was like, well, I'm not gonna relate that. Because that's just bottom line. So it's important that we, as where we at, that we understand also that we can give all the things we want to the children, but we also need to be mindful that behind the scene is the house. Because the house is broken. What point is it that we've thrown all this effort and this hard work, and the kid really wants to change, but the parents at the end of the day is going to say, I don't care what they say. We're going to go by my rules. So we have to figure out a way and shift things to allow the parents know we're not against them. We're not trying to take your kids away from you. We're not trying to rattle your cage. We're trying to help you to be productive and show your kids that you are worth something too. Because sometimes they feel some type of way, so it's a cycle, it runs. And we're here to break that cycle, and that's why I'm excited to be part of this program. And I told Frank, like, whatever we come up with, if there's anything that we make up anything, I don't care, I'm in it, because that's I know his heart is in the right place, and I'm excited to meet some of you now. And I thank you for the opportunity, for being, for allowing me to be part of an amazing group.
It's nice to hear nice things about, from other people. I appreciate that. But honestly, everybody that's sitting here is here because you came here, because you wanted to be here, because you connected to a belief that sometimes you don't even articulate. Mr. Younger and I met 5 or 6 years ago, and we didn't really discuss anything. I could tell from spending time with him that he and I had a lot in common in terms of how we view people. And when you meet people like that, I don't care where you come from or where you're going, it's just a connection that is durable, that is valuable. And I think what's good about this is that we all appreciate helping others. And these projects help us to realize our sense of importance in what's important in life. And that's really important to me. So thank you for those words. We do go back a long way. I have to say, he's also a parent here. So his daughter was in Camp Ramapo with me, and I knew her before I realized he was still around. So anyway, I just want to do a couple of closing statements. These are the next steps. We've applied for the MBK grant for the next 4 years, and we'll be releasing whatever we get on that when it comes in. Extended Day Academic Program, we just wrote a grant for that. It's supposed to start July 1st. We haven't heard anything on that yet. That's New York State Ed. And we want to definitely be continuing and developing and researching what we do in BFI. It's very important. And we want to develop a youth service group with the NAACP and a social justice group as well. Can you go to the next slide, please? The Teen Parent Program, I just want to introduce one other person. This young lady sitting right here, Mrs. Denise Younger, Pastor Younger. She is courageously helping me when I'm surrounded by babies and mothers in the library. She is a big part of it, as well as Miss Berry and Miss Asha, who's not here, Miss Baxter. So we're doing something there, but through the grant that we got with the Rally Foundation, we were able to get somebody as talented, as gifted, as lovely, and as knowledgeable as Denise. And so we're happy to have her. She's straightforward too. The first time she came, we run the group and it was a little out of sorts, and she said to me, with a smile, she looked at me, she goes, "This ain't gonna happen when I come back, right?" And it didn't. But Denise, I'm so happy to be working with you. I really am. Thank you. And it's another example of the pleasure of meeting people who care about others. And then when we hear it back from you, it's fulfilling. What else is there in life? That's how I see it. The other thing is youth employment. We had 7 youth working in our tech and PC departments last summer in Ellenville. We're going to have another 5 this year and maybe 2 more on groundskeeping. We've got an adult who was an original MBK kid who's now graduated. He's in the adult employment program at Ellenville. He's got a full-time job there. It's a short-term arrangement, but it could become long-term, and it's definitely got training in it, so this young man could go on to trades that he's interested in. And then I'm committed to this. I need a data tracking system that makes sense to us to convince the people who donate the money to Brighter Futures, to Rally Foundation, so that they know we can literally, not just in terms of the face and the people and the activities, but convince them of how this looks in terms of people's lives. What does that arc look like? You have one more? Okay, so I come to the part that Alexandra was at. Let me see. Oh, I didn't see him come in. But talk about going back. We met late 70s, early 80s? Okay, so Joachim Larte, as we would say, Joachim Larte. We go back a long time. We both worked at the Ashland Home for Children. I was a group home father. And you actually became a group home father after me, didn't you? Yeah. So we worked together with kids, and we've crisscrossed the whole way. Joachim works for Osterbosis, and he is in our school 2 times a week. And we have a mutual friend named Val Miak who swears he's got the greatest job in the world. He goes, Joachim, what does he do? He walks around and talks to kids. That's his job. And he does a very good job because Joachim is a highly skilled person in terms of interacting with youth, helping kids figure things out. Joe, good to see you here. I'm happy. I'm glad you made it over. Did we get everybody? Oh, and maybe I mentioned before, but Nick Jenner, raise your hand. Nick Jenner is a former psychologist, or currently a psychologist too. You're still retired psychologist. I don't know how psychologists can retire, because you either are a psychologist or you're not. Yeah. You're going to analyze your meals no matter what age you are. Okay, that's part of the psychology. Anyway, Nick is representing the NAACP because he's been charged in Ellenville. We're both members. He was charged with connecting with us to develop a youth corps in the NAACP, which we want to do. Social justice, youth empowerment, whatever. But we're looking forward to that. Actually, I think that was a goal of the men's group, if I'm not mistaken. So we're fulfilling that goal too. We're coming to a close here, and I want to leave it open a little bit. Anybody else want to make any comments or statements or raise questions, because I'm going to it's being recorded, and we want to build off of what you say. So I'll leave the mic open, and anybody can say what they like. Sort of. Yeah. Yes. Nina.
Oh, Frank, thank you so much for putting this together. So nice to be sitting still outside somewhere with a nice breeze.
There you go.
Absolutely beautiful. I was going to mention that I love our collaboration, and I love the fact that you're building onto it. We're constantly doing that. Let's make sure we keep this vibe with Ellenville Kingston, because previously Kingston was a pilot, but now Ellenville also is a pilot. So let's keep this thing going and make sure that we stay in touch and build. And let's make people aware of MBK and the importance that MBK is to this community and what you do, because I think that you might have already touched on that one before I came. Very, very important to acknowledge that MBK is for youth with a focus on young men of color, which is very, very necessary. So I'm grateful to have you pushing that out here in Ellenville. Let's keep this going. Thank you.
Yeah. And seriously, like, this program would not exist in Ellenville if it wasn't for Frank. Like, we came and we presented, and we're like, hey, we're looking to partner. Like, are you guys up for this? We have great ideas, but we don't have any kids. And he's like, oh, I've got kids. Yes. And I'm going to work with you every week and have endless meetings and design this program with you. So he, like, might as well work for the county now, or your paycheck is in the mail. Right. It's along with Ray's with all of the commissions that he serves on. So, yeah. Have a really lovely meal that someone else also bought. So, no.
That was good.
Thank you.
All right, so if there isn't any more to say, you have time, you can sit here, and please finish up what's out there, because it's on the house. Not this house, our house. But thank you for being here. I mean that. We're going to do this again, and safe journey home.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just call me late.